Hi guys, and welcome to today's YouTube video. In today's video we will be discussing Bitcoin, and we will also be going over a different altcoin than Ethereum, and we will be going over Polkadot, okay? We will be discussing a potential short trade setup that I'm eyeing up for Bitcoin, two potential short trade scenarios actually, and we will also be shortly discussing where I will be looking for a long position. We've already been discussing that potential long position and that potential long area multiple times, but still we can still go over it really quickly. So before we start off guys, please make sure to follow me on Twitter. We are almost around the 2,500 followers, and I would really appreciate a follow over there. Also make sure to join our free Discord. Both of the links are in the description. So let's dive straight into Bitcoin, because we are seeing some interesting things. The movement that we saw over here is looking pretty similar to the movement that we are currently seeing over here. So we have an overextended move towards the upside, in which a lot of people are trying to short that move. And in case, instead of moving towards the downside, the market makers are trying to squeeze those short positions out of their position over here before the real move towards the downside started, okay? So people are continuously trying to short this move over here. Instead, they got squeezed out of their positions, and afterwards the market started moving hard towards the downside. What are we seeing currently? People are constantly trying to short this move. We are seeing these constant liquidity grabs, okay? So constantly we're seeing these swing failure patterns every single time. We're sweeping those previous highs. Instead of going down, people are FOMOing into short positions, and the market makers are seeing that, and every single time they put their stop loss above the previous high, and they're getting stopped out of their short positions. Why? Because they have no confirmation. There is no liquidity grab followed by a break of structure. Okay, so that is where I would be personally interested in a potential short. So the first scenario that I'm looking at on the lower term time frame is a potential sweep of the high over here, in which we have our previous higher low over here, or maybe over here. In case we do get that sweep of the high followed by a break of structure with momentum. What do I mean by that? I mean, I want to see a break of structure with a fair value gap, okay? So the momentum needs to be high, and in that case, we leave behind a fair value gap, and that could be a potential sign to look for a short position on the lower high play. And then I will be targeting our potential area for long positions, which is this area over here, around this order block over here, where we also have the 0.382 fib level. If we go from swing low to swing high, and we switch on the 0.382 fib level. Okay, so we have been discussing this multiple times in the previous YouTube videos. This is just requiring a lot of patience right now, okay? Just wait for the market to give you the best opportunity possible, and that is where you want to look for potential long positions, okay? So that is also the target if we get that break of structure with momentum. So you can either look for a break of structure over here on this wick, but I think this break of structure will also do. If you do get the break of structure with displacement, look for potential higher low play, and you can be looking at a potential volume profile. So for example, over here we see a nice little volume cluster, and that could be an area for a potential lower high. As you can see, I already marked it out by accident. Okay, so you can use those different kind of confluences, Fibonacci levels, maybe the daily open, the point of control, or just the value area high or big volume clusters like this. Okay, so that is the first short scenario that I'm looking at. The second one is in case we get a squeeze towards higher levels. In that case, I would be interested in taking a short position around the area over here, in which we have a big supply area over here for Bitcoin. And I do expect, if we get another squeeze towards the upside and we really squeeze out those early short positions, I would be interested in taking a short position over here. Okay, so you can wait for a break of structure around that supply area where there's a big resistance area, in case we do get a similar scenario towards compared to this scenario over here. So over here you saw the slow grind upwards, got that quick squeeze towards the upside, and then we fell down pretty hard. Okay, in this case I don't really expect us to fall down that hard and to also get a break of structure like we did over here, but I do expect us to still form a higher low somewhere before we see continuation towards the upside for Bitcoin. Okay, guys, so two different short scenarios that I'm looking at. Definitely keep an eye on this supply area over here, in which we could be squeezing out those early short positions. For now, I'm still flat, waiting for the market to give me a direction. Patience is key right here. Okay, guys, every single trader that was trying to trade the choppy range that has been occurring over here has been getting stopped out of every single position. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't be one of those stupid traders that are getting chopped up inside of a wave like this. Okay, Polkadot, very interesting chart. First of all, daily time frame. What can we see? We got a clean breakout out of this potential falling wedge. So in this case, we got that falling wedge over here. Can be looking at it different kind of ways. Just some kind of a falling wedge, some kind of a reversal pattern that we are looking at. So that is the first sign that I'm looking at. If I switch on the volume, I can see that the breakout over here, if I move this to a new pane below, that the breakout over here happened on a very big increase in volume. That is exactly what you want to see if you get a breakout like this. So for me, it is obvious that we can be looking at potential long positions on a pullback. Why? If I just remove the trend lines and I just look at basic price action, what can we see? Nice little sweep, in which if we extend this to the right, we can see we get a nice little deviation over here. We got the deviation, and after the deviation we started sending it towards the upside. Clean price action that occurred after we also got a sweep of these equal lows over here, and this resulted, these two sweeps and this deviation over here resulted in a high time frame break of structure with a lot of momentum. What I have just been talking about with a lot of momentum, that means displacement. Okay, small displacement over here, displacement over here. So this move towards the upside was a move with momentum, and afterwards Polkadot started cooling off. And right now, on lower term time frames, we are potentially looking at some kind of an A, B, C correction, in which we can target the potential C wave in order to find a potential support area where we might be looking for the next impulse towards the upside. Okay, if we look on this time frame, we can also determine some kind of an impulse towards the upside, in which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, or you might say this is wave 1, this is wave 2. It is pretty much irrelevant. At least we are in some kind of a fourth wave before we start a potential fifth wave towards the upside, and we want to be profiting during that fifth wave. So we can determine certain areas for a potential higher low, and that area we can use to look for potential long positions. So if we go from swing low to swing high, we remove the 0.382 fib level for a second, and we get some interesting fib levels. Also, we have a nice little range over here. So if I select the range, we have our range high over here because we got this bounce, and from this move we got a move towards the downside, and this is our range low. Okay, in which we can see that the mid-range is definitely a nice little area. If we extend this to the right, we can see as soon as we got a reclaim of the mid-range over here, we got a very harsh move towards that range high, in which we got a small deviation over here, and then over here we rejected that range high once again. So you can see the beautiful interaction with that range. Also over here, mid-range getting respected beautifully, as you can see, consolidation, breakout below the mid-range, and it gets sent all the way towards that range low. Okay, so clean little range over here. We can take a look at the fixed range volume profile of this range, and what can we see? We have our biggest volume cluster over here around our 0.5 fib level and around our mid-range and our golden pocket. So we have nice little confluences been building up over here, okay, in which we also have a very nice sell side liquidity right above our area of interest. Okay, so this is our sell side liquidity, and we have our area of interest little below. Okay, so our area of interest for potential long positions for Polkadot would be this area over here. Our invalidation is pretty clear as well, because over here, this beautiful price action, right? So you get this mini break of structure over here, in which you get a retest of the previous price action with this higher low over here. Then we get another breakout, and this entire price action that occurred over here has not been retested yet. So our invalidation is below this week over here, since this piece of price action has already been retested by this high low over here. So that is also our invalidation area for a potential long position. Okay, so that is our invalidation. Let's mark it out. And that way we have our interesting area for potential long positions for Polkadot. We can still switch on the EMAs to see if we get some extra confluence. Let's remove the 50 and 20 EMA because they are irrelevant. In the meantime, I'm getting an alert for my Forex potential trades. Let's remove the 50 moving average. And that way we have our three most important EMAs. So 100 EMA, beautiful aligning with our area of interest. 200 EMA, also beautiful aligning with our area of interest. And on the 2 hourly time frame, these two EMAs are perfectly aligning as well. Let's check the 12 hourly time frame real quick. And also on the 12 hourly time frame, the 100 EMAs aligning perfectly. So what would I be looking at on Polkadot? I would be looking at Polkadot to finish this ABC correction in which we can measure the potential price target. Also the 1-to-1 fib beautifully aligning with our area of interest. So if we look at the 0.5, in which we have our premium over here and discount over here, I will be looking at a first entry point around this demand area, this order block over here, where we also have our 1-to-1 fib extension. So we'll be looking to long inside of that discount. Invalidation is below this week over here. First target would be previous high to take out the previous high, and that is already an RR of 3.3. You can even DCA into your position around that mid-range to get an even better potential entry price if you use two different entry points, and in that way your RR would increase towards 6.3. If you target higher levels, in which I think you could target this big wick that we created on the 4 hourly time frame, that is an RR of approximately 4.7 and an RR of approximately 8.8. Okay guys, so that is what I would potentially be looking at for Polkadot. If you guys have any questions about this YouTube video, about these updates and potential trade ideas, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Twitter or in our free Discord. All the links are in the description. Okay guys, thank you guys for watching and I'll speak to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.